Broads Media.
Oh, Ben Simmons is such a clown. It's hysterical. And I just want to be very clear, because I don't know if I stressed it enough throughout the 30 minutes that I just ranted. Ben Simmons saying that Joel Embiid in that Toronto Raptor series, he didn't call out Embiid for that poor performance. Is this guy on drugs? Did he not remember fully how everything played out? Not that Joel didn't have his mistakes and didn't have his turnovers, but he clearly turned that into such an elite success story that, dude, you're a joke. You're such a failure. It hurts. Before we talk about it more, if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate it. It helps out tremendously. I love your support. Without you, there's none of this. So thank you guys. Real quickly, if you're looking to go to a Sixers game so you could see what we saw last night against the Memphis Grizzlies, where Tyrese Maxey battled with Ja Morant, you can go to SeatGeek and utilize the promo code BROADS at their checkout page for $20 off. So forget about all those fees. They're non-existent. I got you. I'm right here for you. I got you. Promo code BROADS, SeatGeek's checkout page. Lastly, TikTok, Broads Media. Toss me a follow there. With that being said, enjoy the show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. It took me so long to wind down last night after the adrenaline rush of watching Tyrese Maxey explode and Tobias Harris lead this team to victory without Joel Embiid. It was such a unique, phenomenal night down at the Wells Fargo Center. Not that I was there. I'm just saying that's how powerful it was that I was sitting on my couch and I could still feel the vibe. I wake up this morning and I see on Twitter that the 76ers, through one of their awesome camera angles, have a video of Tyrese Maxey after he makes that layup when Matisse Thybulle throws it towards half court, and he's basically in the stands and he's screaming and 20,000 fans are just throwing their emotions towards him, and he's admiring everyone that's there, and you could see the excitement level in his face, how much he's appreciating the fact that these people are there for him. This city is amazing. This is incredible. And he loves the damn game so much. And I just have the chills running down my spine. I'm drinking my coffee. I'm thinking about this team winning 15 of their last 18 games. They're in a great spot. They're a half game back of the first seed in the Eastern Conference, and then you get hit with Ramona Shelburne's piece, and I have to admit that there's a lot of noise saying, why is anyone giving this the time of day? Because you'd be a fool, especially in this business, to just act as if it wasn't there. You're going to walk by it nonchalantly? You'd be doing a poor job. You'd be doing a Ben Simmons. Nobody wants to do a Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons does a poor job at what he's supposed to do. He has a goal, which is be a good basketball player. He fails to work on it, and he fails to do the right things. I don't want to be a Ben Simmons at my job. That's why you look what's in my hands right now, and it's 15 pages of Ramona Shelburne. I got things highlighted. I brought out the highlighter. Now, do you think I have a damn highlighter in this office, in this studio? Absolutely not. I was so damn dedicated to breaking this puppy down that I sat into my fiance's office where she's got yellow, pink, blue, orange, you name it. She's got sticky notes laying around. This thing looks like the Queen of England's office. If she had one, I'm sure she does. This thing is nice as hell. I'm thinking I got to go up there more often. But that's how much I looked at this and go, ho, 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 we're going to do a deep dive. And it blows my mind that this is clearly being released by one side. When the national media, outside of what Shaq says on TNT, that's obviously his own opinion. And when him and Charles Barkley speak up, they're just speaking their mind and keeping it 100, whether you like their approach or not. Over the years, I know this city despised them for always targeting Joel Embiid, but now we love it because they're targeting Ben Simmons. Joel is where Joel is at because of understanding, maybe he doesn't understand the criticism, but taking that information in and letting it fuel him so he goes, screw you, jerk-offs. I'm going to be amazing. I'll be the best 7-footer you've ever seen in this league. Watch my handles. Watch the growth when I study Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant. And now it's all playing out right in front of our damn eyeballs. But the moral of the story here that I'm trying to bring up is Ramona Shelburne, when she says this is Rich Paul, Clutch Sports, Ben Simmons trying to tell people something. And the fact that they look horrible. Ben Simmons looks worse. So they wanted it to kind of cool it down and try and tone it down maybe a little bit on where everything's at, and they only made it worse. He's making up stuff that doesn't even make any sense. No one can sit there and rationalize what the hell is going on in his brain when you hear what is stated. So let's just run through all these highlighted pieces. We have anytime hotline calls to get to as well, so it's going to be fun. Frustrating, definitely frustrating, but it's going to be fun. And where we begin here is a piece where it says, so much time has passed that it's easy to forget what started this standoff in the first place. 14 months ago, there were trade discussions with Houston about swapping Simmons for then Rocket star James Harden. Then there was his playoff meltdown in Game 7 against the Atlanta Hawks in June, and the critical post-game comments from Coach Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid. There's more. If anyone needs a full accounting, past slights that have been magnified with the passing time. According to sources close to Ben Simmons, he's upset that Joel Embiid seemed to blame him for last season's playoff loss when Simmons did not blame Embiid for Embiid's poor showing in the playoffs against Toronto Raptors in 2019. What? You mean when Joel Embiid was the entire team, plus minus wise, when he left the floor, they turned into an absolute disaster. They were plus 90 with him there, and they were minus 60. He was minus 16, Ben Simmons was. You're going to call out Joel and say he's the reason without acknowledging your monster flaws and your piss poor performance too? You want to know why that there were some shot clock violations with Jimmy Butler and everyone poured all their frustration right towards Brett Brown? And I'm not saying that he didn't have anything to do with it. I'm telling you that when you, Ben Simmons, suck so much at your job and you can't shoot a basketball as a point guard in this league, and then you force Jimmy Butler to have to play isolation ball 5-on-4 in the postseason in the half-court set, what do you think the result is going to be? And you don't think that Joel Embiid got a ton of heat? He had the stomach problems, and everyone was making fun of him for that. He was a meme because he was crying as he was leaving the floor and crying to his girlfriend. He was getting mocked for months and months, national media, saying, how dare you get seen and caught crying in your girlfriend's eyes? Oh, you're horrible. I mean, he was getting annihilated. The difference is he looked at that moment and said, that will not define me. And we just saw something similar happen in the NFC Championship game when the 49ers had a chance to win and there was an interception drop. Tart had an interception right into his hands. And after the game, he said, I let everybody down. I'm so upset with myself. He went on this whole tweet and he said that this won't define me. I will become better from this. That's the difference. Don't think this is the problem. I wasn't good enough, but neither was him. Joel wasn't good enough either. That is a problem if that's the way that you think this works. Let's use my job as an example, right? Let's say I do a radio show, and I'm co-hosting with somebody else. Doesn't even need to be a name. Random. Jim Smith. Me and Jim Smith are hosting a show on Sunday afternoon, and the show ends up not being good. Do you think I go, you know what? I didn't do a good job, but you sucked too. You sucked. You stunk. No, I go, damn, we could have been better. We could have had a better segment. We could have opened the show a little bit better. I got to acknowledge my flaws. You know, hey, maybe next time I'll do this. That's it. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone fails. We will criticize you failing in the moment. We will state what went wrong and talk about what needs to happen. For example, Jalen Hurts, he did some nice things, he did some poor things. You need to learn from all that information you gather, Jalen Hurts, and do everything you can to be the best version of Jalen Hurts. That's all we ask. That is all we ask. You're allowed to make mistakes. Now, we'll criticize it. We'll hash it out. But it doesn't get to a crazy level if you just are willing to take that and say, I got to be better. I got to be better. This guy's nuts. The fact that he's going to, criticize Joel's performance in 2019. I can't believe they said things about me when look what you did 2 years ago. That's irrelevant because he turned that into becoming an MVP conversation piece in back-to-back seasons. So what else is in here? He's frustrated that Doc Rivers didn't come to see him while he was training in LA. Simmons doesn't dispute that he didn't reply to Doc Rivers when he texted him and called him several times over the summer asking to see him. But in hindsight, Simmons feels Rivers and the Sixers could have done more, like show up at the gym where he was training. So let me get this straight. This guy was openly admitting, I'm not even responding to them. They don't mean enough for me. They don't mean enough to me. Like Doc Rivers, right? Say what you want about the all-bench lineup. Say what you want about his flaws in LA. Reality of the situation is, in the NBA world, this guy has a ton of respect, right? Right. And he's calling you, hey, Ben, and you're not answering. But then it's Doc Rivers' fault for not just randomly showing up and begging you, getting on his hands and knees saying, Ben, please come back. This is professional sports. You got to handle yourself like a man. And you're telling me that you can't do that? You can't acknowledge that no one in this level of anything in professions, like anything professional, whether you're an accountant, whether you're a plumber, whether you're an electrician, whether you're an athlete, no one's going to just sit there on their hands and knees and pray and just show up on hands and come back. I need you. No. Especially when you're not showing that you're willing to actually return and be there for this team. You hear all the noise right now about where this team is and how their connection is happening. Thank you, Ben. Seriously, thank you, Ben. We should be thanking Ben for that part of it, not the whole thing, because you never want to be in this scenario to begin with. But from the brotherhood side of things and how this team is meshing and loving one another, there's pictures too. And I believe it was also the Sixers Twitter account. After the game, Joel Embiid's got a big smile on his face. He's dapping up Tyrese Maxey. Why? Because Maxey's willing to learn. All right, this dude has taken a massive jump at the three-point line. Not only that, I saw a fast break where he realized two guys were behind him. He kind of side-eyed it, slowed down, waited for contact, and then threw the ball up. In the beginning of this season, we all described him as a really nice player that needs to learn how to draw fouls and actually get to the line, because he would never. He would just throw his body up, and he would never get the proper calls, and he would never have free throws. And now, within the same season, he's better offensively, he's better at the free throw line, and he even put up 4 blocks the other night. He's giving you assists. Come on, Ben. Everyone else is getting better. I can't get over that he just assumed that Doc Rivers would show up at his front door at the gym. Why? Why would he? What have you done to deserve anything like that? Not that anybody deserves that. No one does. And for some reason, you're special? Yeah, come on, man. This is reality of the situation. He doesn't like Daryl Morey. He does not like Daryl, and he doesn't trust Daryl. And the reason why that is because Morey elected to move forward with Joel Embiid as the star. Hey, Ben, if you didn't realize, it's clear and obvious that they made the right decision because look at the way Embiid is playing. And I don't want to fast forward too much, but I just have to because the final statement of this entire article is at the end of the day, it's still his team, a source says, and he still wants to play. In what world is this still Ben Simmons' team? You're a joke. And before that, it says, even so, for however much he says he doesn't want to be in Philadelphia for all the slights, Simmons watches every game. So he watches every game, and he still wants to play, and this is still his team, a source says. Yeah, well, your source is drunk. Your source is drunk. Rich Paul and Adele getting hammered in the back room, taking shots at tequila. doing whatever they do, and then they start calling Ramona Shelburne and just spewing this garbage. It's absolutely insane. And this is why I get bothered when people say that this is Daryl Morey's fault that we are in this position. You're allowing Ben Simmons off the hook when that's the case. Do you know why we are here today? We are here today because of, wait for it, Ben Simmons. That is why we are in this predicament. Ben Simmons, the person. That's why we're here. Don't be blaming the Sixers. We got some anytime hotline calls, right? And we also got a bunch of comments as well. And this person was so mad at the Sixers. This organization sucks to the core. This is what happens when you coddle an athlete who thinks that they are better and more valuable than they actually are. Look at the way things are handled. Do you think they're coddling Ben Simmons? No, they're playing hardball at this point. And yeah, I think that it's fair to criticize maybe the softness of it at one point, but that's not out of the ordinary. That is just society, unfortunately, has become so damn soft, and these players in this league have so much power traditionally that the league is set up for these players to be able to push the buttons they want to when their contract allows it. Ding, ding, ding. That's the difference. A lot of these guys, Anthony Davis, right, when these people want out of town, they do it when they have no years left on their deal, and they're basically a UFA, and they're holding these organizations hostage. So now that Ben Simmons has that money tied to his name, missing out on $19 million, could be up to $12 million more. See, this is a totally unique circumstance that doesn't tie to the rest. But I can't fault the Sixers for Ben. Once again, you're allowing Ben Simmons off the hook for working this way because you don't like the Sixers. No. Ben Simmons is at fault. Say it with me. Ben Simmons is at fault. One more time. Ben Simmons is at fault. Ben Simmons is why we're here, not the Sixers and not Daryl Morey. Let's see here. He's skeptical, sources close to him say, of Sixers president of basketball operations, Daryl Morey, and his willingness to trade him because of his previous pursuit of Harden. Yeah, you guys don't like one another. I got you. But why don't you like him? Oh, I know why you don't like him. Because he's going to trade your ass. And he's going to look to upgrade you. You would think that that would be motivation. Same with Doc Rivers and what he said postgame. If anyone believes that Joel Embiid laying out not just the pass dunk and the pass to Matisse Thybulle, but he laid out the entire sequence of plays and what went wrong from top to bottom. Somehow that just is left off the table here, where he broke down everything that went wrong against Atlanta in Game 7. But let's only dissect that one portion. And then with Doc Rivers saying, I don't know, most people would go, damn, I got to show myself. I got to prove myself. You know what would happen to me? And I was just a D3 NCAA college athlete. If someone said to me, bro, you can't do this, I would make sure I do my best to prove them wrong. Now, I might fail because ultimately they might be right. Maybe they're right. And I was an in and out of the lineup kind of guy. So I'm not a 6'10 body frame, Ben Simmons style of player. But the irony here is he doesn't shoot a ball because he's afraid. He's afraid. He's afraid to get mocked. He's afraid to get made fun of. What's happening right now when you take this approach, Ben? You're getting mocked and you're getting made fun of because you're making yourself look like a clown. This is self-inflicting. That's the reality of the situation. You're doing this yourself. Rich Paul, Simmons' agent, had spent weeks in the fall trying to convince the three-time All-Star to fly back to Philadelphia as a show of good faith. Simmons did not want to go under any circumstances. So now you basically have his agent telling him, Ben, you have to go. You got to show up, good faith, and he was just unwilling to. Now we know that eventually he shows up and it gets ugly. He gets kicked out of practice and he half-asses everything, and that defeats the purpose of showing up in good faith, which he also doesn't realize. If your goal is to get out of here, you think this is the best way to go about things? Absolutely not. If you want out, then get out. Get out. You're not the only person to get booed here. It's not that heartbreaking, dude. Joel gets booed, and you know what? They told all the crowd, shut up, right? He took those shots on Twitter, telling people off. When you play well, it all goes away. Just play well. Just be better at the game. Tobias Harris is getting booed left and right. And he's in a tough spot because he's even more overpaid, in theory, than you were. We know he's nowhere even close to that. If Ben Simmons plays to his max ability, he is worth that money. Tobias Harris isn't even close, so there's even added pressure onto him. The difference is he's not delusional. You're 1,000% delusional. According to sources with knowledge of the conversation, Paul told Simmons that while he understood Simmons wasn't mentally ready to get on the court because of the 4 years remaining on his contract, they simply had no leverage if he didn't return to the team. Yeah, well, guess what? That's what happens when you sign the deal and then you're unwilling to show up. It's going to get to you. It's going to hurt you. They know. See, Rich Paul knows. I'm just trying to get the feel on what this all means. With them leaking it, like, what were they trying to get done here? See, Maxey's a Rich Paul client, too, by the way. And this story was going to drop with or without the Sixers winning that Grizzlies game yesterday. This was published in the morning. It was set to go. It just happens to be where after Maxey performs this way, it's kind of funny, right? For Ben Simmons to be sitting there and to watch the game play out the way that it did and the electricity at the Wells Fargo Center for the next morning for this whole thing to kind of be out into the world. I think it's hysterical for it to be that way. But, yeah, man, like, you got no leverage in this right now. But the problem is he's so far dug in that which way do you go? Unless you openly say, I wonder, and this wouldn't happen. This would not happen. This would not happen. But if Ben Simmons had a media press conference, stood up to the media right now, today or tomorrow, looked everybody in the eyes, didn't answer questions, just had a monologue. I did not like the way I handled this. When I self-reflected over everything that happened, I'm extremely upset with myself. It shouldn't have come down to this. I'm really hurting inside because I don't like how this has went down, and I am a big reason on why that is. What I would like to do is apologize to every Sixers fan out there, apologize to my teammates, apologize to Joel Embiid, Doc Rivers, and every single person within this franchise. I mishandled this, and I am very disappointed in myself. What I would like to do is put everything aside, show you that I care, go out there on the basketball floor, and give everything I have. And I promise you, I will give you everything I have from this point moving forward. I made a mistake. It's about how I handle myself after I make this mistake. And I would love to have an opportunity to prove to everyone here that I am deeply sorry. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So I just want to say from this point moving forward, I understand that I did not handle things properly. I want to handle things the right way from this second on. Thank you very much. Go Sixers. What would happen? How do you think it would go down if that happened? And then he played on the basketball floor. They're a half game back of the first spot right now in the Eastern Conference without Ben. Now, we know half-court sets, he can't shoot, yada, yada, yada. We've been it all. We've been there before. We've been through it all. And we know that his deficiencies would murder them in the postseason. But, I wonder how all of that would really play out. Remember that Joel Embiid even told the Wells Fargo Center crowd on opening night, I urge you guys to continue to support us and our teammate Ben, and he's still our brother. See, all this nonsense of him taking shots at Joel Embiid is just one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen in my damn life. At one point, Ramona Shelburne tries to tie this to Le'Veon Bell. No. It's completely different than Le'Veon Bell's story. Le'Veon Bell wasn't happy about his pay. Ben Simmons is getting paid when he's out there on the floor. Enough money. The problem with Ben is he doesn't like the way that the fans treated him, and he's upset with how his teammates said things. Doc said things after the game where he just shelled up and hit into the corner and didn't feel like doing anything about it instead of rising to the occasion, or at least attempting to rise to the occasion. There is nothing wrong with failing. There's something wrong with not trying to succeed. If you try to succeed and you fail, then okay. See, even things in my personal life, I'm going through things outside of this. And I always go, well, what if it doesn't go right? Or what if I embarrass myself? Or what if this and what if that? But then I go back to, you know what? If it doesn't play out the way that I would like to, I can at least acknowledge myself and look myself square in the eyes and say, you tried. Bros, you tried. You tried. There's nothing in this world that's just going to work out perfectly every single damn time, right? It's just not how life works. And will there be critiquing? No doubt. Could there be embarrassing stuff? No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Everyone goes through their fair of shit of things in life. Yes, their fair of shit in life. Yes, no doubt. But at the end of the day, the lack of trying, I just can't relate. I can't relate. Being nervous, all that. Okay, be nervous. You're allowed to be nervous. But go out there and give it everything. Instead of this, Ben. So to tie this to asking for more money and sitting out at Pittsburgh and playing that game of, trying to hold out until you get what you want. It's night and day, actually. I can't believe that even made the article because it's not close. Is that all kind of have highlighted? No. Oh, I talked about this already. The fans booed Joel and Tobias as well. Some believe that he could come back and face the home crowd. Others say it's too far gone with both the fans and how he feels about the organization. This stands out to me so much. I even put a star next to this. He's there, but it's almost like you don't notice him anymore, a team source says. The team has moved on. We've focused on games. It's a really good group. Nobody wants this to be a big distraction. That says a lot, that this team basically said, Ben, we don't care about you. You're not a distraction anymore. Really, there's nothing that you do that's going to bother us internally. Us, the fans, the media, all that. We may talk about it, no doubt, and we'll bring it up, and we'll make sure that it's dissected and we figure out the ins and outs and we let our boiled frustration out because that's what this medium is for. Hey, let it ride, scream. Tears, smiles, cheers, you name it. A big fat red face of sweat pouring down the sides. However you feel in that moment, that's why this microphone is sitting in my office. This is my source. This is my outlet. This allows me to get that all out there. But inside that Sixers locker room, they don't give a damn. They're so far past that. Look at where we are without him. Now, it sucks because you always imagine what could be with that $30 million elsewhere. But look at how everyone has rose to the occasion. Sure, hiccups happen. Danny Green goes through a tough spurt. Tobias Harris goes through a tough spurt. Seth Curry was awful last night until he wasn't and was crucial. Andre Drummond has had some bad moments, but followed up by some really good ones. As you can see here, players have their ruts, but just keep playing. I can't stand Danny Green, and I mentioned this yesterday on the postgame show, but there's something to be said about when he gets all pissed off and says bad things about the fans, and I don't think he likes the fans here. He doesn't care. He just plays. He doesn't give a damn. He just plays. And I don't like him. I don't. I'll be honest, I don't. But I respect that angle of it. What you should respect also is DeSimone Jewelers. They are my jewelers. I got my fiance's engagement ring from them, and I continue to go back every single holiday. Fellas, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. They're a family-owned business located in Haddonfield, New Jersey, previously in Jewelers Row. Will, Lou, Nick, and Mike, they treat you like family. They work with you to get the best design at the most reasonable price you will find in the entire market. They provide custom jewelry design, jewelry repairs, appraisals, watch repairs, and so much more. If you go in there and tell them that Brode sent you, they will absolutely 1,000% hook you up. So it's a no-brainer with Valentine's Day right around the corner. I got a couple Instagram DMs of people who went there, and they said, Brodes, I'm not going anywhere ever again. And I said, you're damn right you're not, because they treat you like you are a part of the DeSimone family, and that matters so much to me, and it should to you as well. DeSimoneJewelers.com. All right, I'm putting my earphones in, and I don't know why, because I think now that I've ranted for about 28 minutes, I might hold off on some of these calls and utilize that throughout, because this conversation's not going anywhere. We're going to continue the conversation for sure. There's a game tomorrow, and this isn't going to, this news isn't just going to be forgotten about. So it's going to happen also. So I might hold on to the phone calls. I didn't realize that I'd just let it fly for that long, although I should have. Here's another comment, though, that came in. I hate Ben, but he's got a point. Ben always has been extra supportive of his teammates regardless. I'm starting to understand his frustration with Glenn and Embiid. That said, I think him and Embiid could have worked it out, but if my coach don't believe in me, 3 middle finger emojis. I can't wrap my head around the people that see his side, because I don't even see it a little bit. Have you played sports, right? I mean, in what universe is being held accountable? It's so funny, because that person probably hated Brett Brown and wanted him to get fired for not holding his teammates accountable, or his team accountable, or his players accountable. Ben Simmons was very vocal. Josh Richardson made some noise before he got shipped out of town, and now the Boston Celtics are trying to get rid of him and Al Horford because they blow. So shame on you, Josh Richardson, for having any sort of dialogue in the mix. But you get my point. Everyone's like, oh, accountability, even Ben Simmons. And then when someone tries it for him, he can't handle the pressure and he runs away as fast as humanly possible. This is one of the most bizarre things we'll ever really take into account here in this city. We've had some bizarre ones. Eric Lindros and his family, T.O. and him in the press conference on his front in the driveway with the bench press, right? We've seen it all in regards of some goofiness, and this is right up there with one of the most craziest scenarios ever. And I don't know how this is going to be playing out. I don't know how it'll pan out, but I'm very intrigued. I don't anticipate it being by the trade deadline. I think it bleeds into next offseason, but this is absurd, and it is crazy. It really is. With that, we're going to shut things down here. I want to thank everybody so much for hanging out with me today. We'll continue this hot Sixers conversation, of course, throughout the next couple of days. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you next time.